My personality as a freshman, I remember being very just shy all the time. I didn't really take many opportunities to go out and try new things. I was pretty reclusive, but I always sort of had this curiosity about this school and these people and how they could impact my life. One of the major moments that I really stepped out of my comfort zone was playing piano for the open mic night at Pacifica. And as a freshman, you can imagine that's a pretty exciting and scary thing to do. I remember being so happy and in my element when doing it. It was definitely a risk I had to take, but I came out a better person, and I came out recognized as this new guy who had this ability. And I think it was definitely worth it to take that jump. I remember after I played, there were people getting up and doing covers of We Didn't Start the Fire, just totally giving it their all. I think people realized, as I did, that it's just better to be open. Another area of growth for me at Pacifica was the class discussions. I'd say in class discussions, that fear sort of remains in high school. Depending on the book or the piece of literature that we're talking about, it can often feel super scary to try to discuss something so complicated. By knowing that you're in an environment that encourages speech, and debate and openness, it really gives you the opportunity to feel like you're not really alone in that, and that you can say what you think. And the best, I think, conversations have sprouted from that. Newsies was the school play for the spring. It was the spring musical, and I'd heard about it from a couple of other people, but I really didn't think I was going to do it. But I remember getting a text one night from a friend saying that they thought that I was going to auditions, and I realized maybe I should go to auditions. And so I talked to the theater department head the next day. She told me to come back for callbacks. So I did, and I got cast as a pretty significant role in the play, which I was nervous about to begin with, but it was such an opportunity for me to be so passionate about something. On the opening night of Newsies, we were doing great. It was going very smoothly. Leading up to the second act, there was a big old fight scene. I twisted the wrong way, I think, my body, and I dislocated my knee. It was the second time it's happened to me, but especially in a new scenario like that, it was hard to recover from that. At least I thought it would be. But I remember sitting there on the floor with my dad by my side and some of the teachers, and they asked me if I wanted to go on and if we wanted to continue the show. I was just sort of overcome with this desire to finish the play, not only because I knew that not only me, but everybody had worked so hard on it, and it was such a gift for me to be a part of. And I remember thinking to myself, what's the best possible outcome for a situation like this? I thought that it would be better to have me up there in a wheelchair, finishing out the play, trying to do the dance moves, the whole thing, than any other option. And so that's what we did. I got back up in a wheelchair. We finished it out, and I think it was great. I think that night specifically was pretty special for the people that went, and I was just happy to be a part of it. Looking back, being injured and being in that state, I think I was looking at my life and looking at this scenario as more than just opening night, but as everything that I had worked up towards and everything everybody had worked up towards. And I think in that moment, you can choose to see yourself and your surroundings in a worst case scenario and a best case scenario. I thought to myself, the worst case scenario is we probably close the whole thing down. It's the end of the show, which would be pretty understandable given, I think, what happened. But looking, I think, for the best case scenario, despite all odds, and how I could lead that or do my part in that, I knew I had to just get back up. I think oftentimes we're faced with those situations, and it's best to just sort of step outside yourself and see what the best thing you can do is, because that's all you really can do. But leaving Pacifica, going into college, I think there's definitely going to be challenges to face. New situations are always pretty scary. But what Pacifica has taught me and what high school has taught me is that it's so much better just to step outside of your comfort zone and do new things, because that's the only way to grow. But I think growing up these past 4 years, I've been able to step outside of that and step outside of myself when it comes to new things, new difficulties, and sudden changes or challenges. Moving into this new season of my life, I owe that to Pacifica, and I owe that to high school for all that they've taught me and all that I've learned.